Hi, my name is Lindsay with the Real Estate Network, and today we have Jennifer Solomon with us. Thank you for joining us, Jennifer.
Hi, Lindsay. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Okay, so we're going to start by diving into your history in real estate thus far.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, first of all, thank you again for having me. I wanted to say that because this is just an awesome opportunity, and I'm absolutely obsessed with everything that you're doing. And I think that you're an incredible person
Thank you
and
very much.
an inspiration to a lot of people. And I just wanted to acknowledge that before I even say anything, because you're do it. You're really an amazing person. So, so I've been in real estate for a really long time. I started in 2004. I worked for a commercial real estate developer, the owner of the Southside Works that was developing at that time, the SOFR organization. So I started in administrative work back then, and out of grad school, trying to scrap along and get a job. That's where I ended up because I just always felt like that was my strong suit, being somebody's right-hand person.
Right.
And so from there, I just really got a taste of, commercial real estate, but kind of from an administrative point of view and seeing from an executive point of view. Actually, my first job out of grad school was a title company, iMortgage Services. And it was, and at that time I had no idea that I was going to be heading into real estate. It was more like, this is the job you get when you get out of college, or grad school, you take what you can get. Because I was in student affairs and higher education. That was my master's degree. And so there just wasn't an opening for that. So that's where I started in real estate, really, I guess, would be at a title company and starting at the very lowest slot in a title company, which was support. And just learning at that end of things. And then after 2004, I moved on and I went to another commercial real estate developer, Cosman Real Estate. They are Cosman Development. They developed Parkway Center Parkway Center Mall, that area over there in Green Tree. And so again, then I was the assistant to the owner of that. And so I got some well-rounded experience in that type of realm in real estate. And then I had my babies from 2012 all the way to 2018. I was having babies. And then I went to actually a Bible study, and I asked the people to pray for me to get a part-time job to help support my family. And they prayed, and the next day, the real estate agent from the Upper St. Clair office of Howard Hanna called me, Robbins Bobbitt, and she said, she was our realtor when we bought our house, and she said, I know you took the classes, because we talked when we were looking at houses. She said, get your license. And so something just kind of it's clicked in me because I had just prayed the day before, and I studied for 48 hours, and the classes were about to expire. They had 9 years earlier I'd taken them, and I passed the test, and that's when I started at Howard Hanna in Upper St. Clair. So that's how I dove into the residential aspect of real estate. It was definitely a divine intervention in my life where I was seeking something. I had my babies. I started to feel like a person again. I wanted to contribute. And so that's where my journey began in real estate.
All the stars aligned.
Yeah, like we talked about. Yep.
So how many years have you been in real estate?
So that was back in 2015. So I've been in commercial since 2004 on some aspects, and then moved into residential since 2015.
And then currently you started Jennifer Solomon and Partners.
Yes. So I actually didn't really start it. It kind of just happened on its own organically.
Okay.
Jennifer Solomon and Partners, a year ago this time, I had found myself in a place where, I was not sure where I was going in real estate. I just wasn't sure. I knew that I love being a realtor. I absolutely love it. I love getting to know people. I love talking to people. I love becoming such an integral part of their life in such a season, and you get to know people in such an intimate way. And but there were aspects of the industry and things that just didn't fit with me, and I just didn't feel like I was sure where I was headed with it. I knew that I had a lot to offer, but I wasn't sure where I was going. So I actually was just taking my time and thinking about things before I made a move, because I had moved from EXP back to Coldwell Banker, and I was revisiting some things in my life and what I wanted to do. And at that time, I was trying some other endeavors, and Christine Chippich, who is on my team, she came to me and we sat down and we had coffee, and she was just like, she told me she had thought, about maybe working together, talking about working together. And for me, that was perfect timing. Again, like you talk about stars aligned, because I was in a season in my life where I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I thought, here comes Christine, and we'll talk, we'll split the business, I'll help, she'll help me, I'll help her, and I'll be able to explore some things. Well, I didn't know at the time that, it was going to continue to grow like that. And so Christine came, and then Christine was actually my daughter's preschool teacher. That's how I knew her from a past life. I had known her there. She got into real estate without even me knowing it. And then Shannon Briggs, who's also on my team, she kind of came along, and we organically just decided all to work together. And then, I had worked with Johnette Shanahan on a previous team, and she saw what we were doing, and the energy kind of attracted her back to us. And same with Randy and Danielle. The five of us kind of just found each other at a point in our lives where, we were ready to do something new. We were ready to do something different. And they kind of were just attracted to the vibe that, we put out there, which is trying to be the best people that we can be. So Jennifer Solomon Partners really started as a group of friends that didn't really know each other. They all knew me, but they didn't know each other. And so they came along, and what we found is that we have like minds. We're all headed in the same direction. We all want to move forward. Randy Major, I danced with her when I was little. And a few years ago, it was on my heart that, maybe real estate would be a good thing for her. And so I messaged her on Facebook. I said, did you ever consider real estate? And she said to me, Jenny, I was just praying about my next move. And so fast forward 2 years later, here she is on the team, planting a seed in her that,
Right.
Anything is possible, right?
Yes.
And so the five of them came around. And then the next thing I know, God just brought a lot of different people to me that were attracted to the vibe of Jennifer Solomon and Partners, which is one of growth. It's one of teamwork. It's one of working together to become not only the best agents we can be, because that's our number one thing. That's our livelihood as far as the team goes, but becoming the best people that we can be, because I think the number one thing about our team is our hearts are aligned. We're all in this thing where we know that we are not perfect. If you pointed out each and every one of us, I'm sure all of us could tell you our flaws and where we fall short, especially me. And I think that's
huge.
That's huge.
A lot of people can't do that.
They can't. And so I think that's kind of like the angle that I lead from, and I don't like to even think of myself as a leader, but apparently this is where we're headed, is servant leadership in a way that understanding that it's our mistakes and it's our failures, which I have failed successfully. I have failed so many times in so many different endeavors in my life. I failed personally. I failed professionally. I failed so many times. And I'm so thankful for each and every failure, because it has made me not only humble to realize where I come from, but it makes me able to look at other people in this group and where they don't feel threatened. They don't feel like I'm looking to judge, and they don't feel like I'm looking to, put them down in any way. If anything, I feel like my purpose and passion with not only Jennifer Solomon Partners, but everything that I do in my life is to help people find that passion inside of them of what gets them going, and then turn it into an income producing activity so that they can become self-sufficient. Because like I talked about before when you asked me regarding how I got into real estate, if it weren't for those prayers at that Bible study and me getting into real estate, I don't know where I'd be right now. 6 years divorced, single mom, 3 kids. Real estate is my livelihood. Real estate is how I support my family. Real estate is where my friend groups originate from. I don't have a close family. These girls on my team, they're my family in different aspects. And I'm so appreciative of them, and they know that. And so I think that just kind of emanates from us, and that's the vibe that kind of comes out from us. It's not fabricated. It is just genuinely who we are. We laugh, and I know I get on their nerves. I'm a lot. But you know what? I need to be a lot in order to be doing what I'm doing. And I love it. I'm so, if you had known where I've been and where I've come from and how much I have lost and not had, to have anything I'm grateful for. So to have this is absolutely mind blowing to me. And it didn't click in me until we did our photo shoot last week, or a week and a half ago. And I turned around and I truly looked at the picture and I thought to myself, how can this be? How could this happen? Because a year ago, I didn't have anything. I had lost everything. And so now I'm looking at this, and now I realize I have a responsibility. And so now it's like everything has switched in my heart and my head, where I feel determined to make sure that I'm guiding every single person that comes into my life in a direction, in a positive direction, so that they're able to do what I was freely given. I was freely given the opportunity to make a life for myself and become self-sufficient, because God gave that to me. So because I was freely given that, I feel a need to invite anybody to freely take of the things and the resources that I've learned of in real estate in any area of my life, no matter what it is, whether it be God or motherhood or real estate. It is, okay, I've been given all this stuff from a creator, and now I just want anybody that wants to go in this direction, let's rock and let's ride. And so that's how we've kind of organically came to be.
It's amazing.
Thanks. I mean, it's him, so he is.
So let's go ahead. Within this past year too, you started Women in Real Estate, which is very amazing.
Thank you.
And intriguing and yes, exciting. Absolutely. If we want to go ahead and talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Again, so Women in Real Estate originated from a need, which is everything. Everything originates from a need. Our industry, originates from a need. Homes from a need. Friendship, love, all it originates from a need. There was a need in our industry for a voice for women. And not in any sort of negative light, like anybody made it that way, but there just wasn't a platform for women to be able to express the things and the needs of our voices. And so when, a panel was given for, an expert panel was put up for real estate, and it was all men, it sparked something in me. Not that it was, I am not a feminist in any way, shape, or form. I am very much, I just love God, and however he directs me, I'm going, but it sparked a passion in me to make sure that we're heard. Like it made me upset. And so the person who had a panel, they completely took it the right way. I said, this isn't good. And they took it the right way, and they ended up sponsoring our first event. So our first Women in Real Estate event was actually put on by the panel that, the person who was holding the panel, because they acknowledged the need for it as well. And I think that's what sparked the excitement about it. So Women in Real Estate, all it is, well, once we had that idea to do this, I just called a couple of the gals that I had known from doing deals with that I know are people like-minded. Said, hey, we need to get this together, and we collaborated, and that's those girls that were in Real Producer Magazine, and we said, hey, let's make a difference, let's do something. And so we started to work on different events. That's where Women in Real Estate, generated from. It started from what's important, what's relevant, what do we want to talk about, what do we want to know about, who do we want to hear about, and we kind of took our voice, and now we have this platform now that women in real estate are able to express the things that are most important to them. And so it's become a platform that is not regulated or not, I'm not sure what the word is. It's not regulated by a brokerage that would have any sort of agenda or anything other than giving a platform for any unheard voice. I say women in real estate is, it's women run. But what it is, it's a coalition of women geared towards in the improvement of our real estate community as a whole. You know why? Because when I look, and God has surrounded me with so many powerful women for some reason, and I do believe that it's mainly because I just never had a good female figure in my life. Do you know what I mean? I was not raised by a mom that really was attentive. So I've taken and gleaned different aspects of different women throughout my life and tried to take the good from them and learn from it because I didn't have that example. So when I look at the women in real estate and I see everything that I see is resources. When we're women, we know how to get stuff done. It just is what it is. And it's not a slight on men. They have their strengths, and they're so good in so many ways. But when it comes to getting stuff done and resources, we can look at a garbage bag and come up with a way to make a craft for it for our child to keep them busy during church. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we know what to do. We are able to make something out of nothing. So all Women in Real Estate is doing is harnessing the resourcefulness of the women within our group. And so it's very important that each one of these events, we invite, the voices of different realtors to be a part of it. So, this next panel that's coming up, which thank you so much for graciously agreeing to not only sponsor, but be on it. We have a couple different women that are going to come here today, and we're going to collaborate on what we're going to talk about. And it's going to be on a rotating basis, and there's not going to be some sort of, monopoly on it, or some brokerage is going to have some sort of bearing on it. It's not. It's a voice of women, and the goal is to eventually become a network where we can become a support system to each other. And what that is to me is, okay, as a single mom, and I think we talked about, maybe we were going to talk about some of these things, The thing that for me has been the hardest is, as a single mom in real estate is, it ebbs and flows. You could have a month where you don't sell one house, and then you could have you could have 2 months, 3 months you don't sell a house, but then you could have a month where you sell 10 houses and you don't know when that's coming. And as a single mom, and the provider for my household and a real estate agent, that's a very scary place to be at times. And I found myself there so many times. And, what I've learned is, going with the ebb and flow, but trying to find some sort of other way for ancillary income while you are doing real estate. A lot of women that really succeed in it maybe have a partner or somebody that gives them that base that they're able to, take those leaps and take those chances on. And there's a lot of women out there that may not have that base, right? They don't have that support system to be able to do it. So the goal is for eventually women in real estate to become almost a hub where, okay, so maybe Lindsay Zattizello needs a babysitter for her daughter, right? So she can call one of the newer agents that has some sort of, I need a babysitter, and then that's ancillary income for that agent. It's connecting the dots. WinR is going to be connecting the dots. Maybe you need somebody to do a showing, right? And you don't know anybody really in your brokerage that you feel like is going to get it done, but you know that there's a WinR in Upper St. Clair that can take the deal for you, and they can just show a house for you. It's creating this network that is uniting us in our commonality as women instead of dividing us in the differences of our brokerages, because there's no reason for that. There's no reason for that. There's no reason for us to be in competition. There's no reason for us to be,
there's plenty of business out there.
There's plenty of business out there. And what we'll find is that we're working together as women. We're going to open up more opportunities for all of us. We're going to have more chances. And there's so many resources. There's so many people that want to support women in real estate. There's so many people that just want to support women initiatives. Do you know what I mean? And so to be able to open up this door and to say to a woman who might not know how she's going to get out of her current situation and not know how she is going to be able to provide for herself and maybe has lost her hope, right? Lost her voice. She's had her kids. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't remember who she was. WinR, I'm hoping, is going to become a platform that she can come to and say, okay, I can find a voice for myself. I can ignite my passion again, whether it be in real estate or maybe it be in some other avenue of real estate, because real estate generates it all. Real estate's the beginning of it all. So really somebody can come to us and say, I need to find a purpose, and they'll be able to find some sort of outlet through, because women will come together. If you need help, women are going to find a way to help without getting credit. And that's a beautiful thing. And so focusing on the beautiful things that we can do together as women and shying away from jealousy and backbiting and, focusing on truth and focusing on our strengths and our minds, right? And being very, very upfront with how we think and the way that we do things rather than the way that we look. I think that is an important thing too, is being known for our minds and the way that we are able to just get it done. And it's a female-dominated industry at the end of the day. The numbers are there, so it's okay. Like, we should be having more of a voice. And so that's all it's going to do. It's just a platform for, and I just hope that anybody that watches this or listens that is a woman in real estate knows, reach out to us. info@mywinr.com. Send an email if there's a topic, if there's something that you want to be involved in, if there's something that you feel would better our industry and you want a platform for it, we're taking that in. We're open to it all. I just think we haven't, because it happened so fast and it grew so quickly, we just haven't caught up with how to get the word out to everybody yet. And that's what we're trying to do.
And I think it will save a lot of real estate careers, what you're doing, because I think a lot of people come and go out of this industry because they feel stuck.
Right.
And they have crossroads and they have to make a choice.
Right. So it's like a hub. So that's the goal. And there's going to be some really, really, really amazing things coming up next year with WinR. And just wait, like you said, it's going to be a place where, okay, I'm struggling here and I'm floundering, but let me connect on WinR and see if there's maybe an older agent, or not an older agent, but a more advanced agent that needs help. Maybe somebody else is blowing up and they need an assistant. Maybe they just need it for 3 months and they want to jump in and they want to help. And then that helps that person get through those winter months. You'd be surprised. I would not be anywhere in real estate if it were not for Lynn Bingham. I wouldn't know anything. I wouldn't have made it through my divorce. I wouldn't have been able to support my children. I wouldn't have learned what I learned. I owe everything really for the opportunity that she gave me to be underneath her and learn what a woman in real estate really does. And just to learn, she is the most magnanimous woman I've ever met. She just is style, she's class, and she gets it done. And I had that opportunity to sit under her. So when I look at Jennifer Solomon and Partners for my own side of things, because both they're separate, I look at that's my opportunity to give back to anybody that wants it, what Lynn gave to me. which is an opportunity. It's a chance. It's a chance to learn from somebody who does it and does it well. Because not everybody's open to sharing that, because for some reason we don't do that. And the whole hope is that through the efforts and the initiatives of the women on the WinR board is to open up that same line of thinking to WinR, where there's women in this industry that have so much knowledge and wisdom that the younger women can glean from and learn from, and maybe avoid some of the pitfalls that we make in real estate, right? And maybe somebody is struggling right now and their career is floundering and they're, they don't know where to go. And maybe one of the younger agents who's more hip on social media can connect with them and they can help them get on TikTok and stuff that they never wanted to do or never knew how to do. Maybe they want to do it. It's just a hub. We're a hub, and it's there's no agenda. There's no purpose other than to grab the resources that we have and put them back into our community. And so that's what we're doing.
That's absolutely amazing.
Thanks.
Of course. So let's go into talking about as a woman and mother in the industry to kind of pivot off WinR. So as you're going through these motions, even I'm now with WinR, I may, adjust a little, but how is it day to day with the kids, balancing work, balancing home life?
Yeah, it's a shit show.
And that's
it's a total shit show. Yeah, sorry about my language, but again, I have my stuff together when it comes to business. I have my stuff together when it comes to my job. I have my stuff together when it comes to anything concerning God. I am very precise. I know what I'm thinking, not all the time. I mean, I'm a mess. There's times I make mistakes. We all make mistakes.
Yes.
But when it comes, like in my children, number one, always. I know what they're doing. I want to be there. They're my number one priority. But the other stuff, honestly, has to flounder sometimes. I just, like I told you before I got here, I bought this at Target, this outfit, before I got here. And I was just being honest with myself. In fact, like I said, I purposely asked your podcast guy not to show my shoes because I forgot to get shoes. And it's like, I don't really care about that part of it. You know what I mean? Like if I got to go to Target and grab a blazer and grab a shirt because I was up at 4:00 in the morning making sure the WinR event got out, I'm good with that. And it's my children are with their dad right now, which is not something that I'm happy with, but I'm going to take advantage of the time that I don't have them. And I'm going to capitalize on that and try to do the best I can. But the little stuff, I mean, these girls that come to my house sometimes when we have the meetings, it's like I feel bad for them because it's like I don't even have a kitchen right now in my house. Like I've been doing major renovations. I've been doing the best I can to keep that part together, kind of balancing it. And I'm doing okay. I take it one day at a time. I wake up every morning and I say to I try to heavily get into my mindset with God, knowing that I can't even take one breath without him and I can't literally do one thing without him. And so that's how I start my day. And then because of that line of thinking and that humble stance towards my day, I'm able to somehow do this because when I look at it, I don't know how. I don't know how I wake up sometimes and I get my kids to school and then I have meetings till they get off of school and then I get them off the bus and then I have a showing at night and then David has to be picked up from practice at 8. I don't know how. I know that I wake up and I depend on my God to get me there. I know that I don't have family. I have friends. I have these people, these wonderful women around me, but it's a balance and I think we all get there. I think we're all
one day at a time.
One day at a time, right? And all women, I think if we just knew, like we're scared to kind of be vulnerable sometimes and say I'm a mess, like we have to look like we have it together. And I mean, I'm guilty of it. We look at our social media, it looks like we've got it together. You wouldn't even know, like, oh my gosh, if you could have seen me. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Changing in my car, honestly, and there's a school bus next to me and I'm thinking, dear God, I'm about to go on a podcast. Like, is this real life? Like, but it is because there's something, that I have to share with people and it's hope. I want to be a hope dealer. I want to give people hope in real estate, hope in their humanity, hope in who they are. And that's just wherever I am and wherever I'm going, that's what I'm going to do. So I put that in my life and every day when I wake up. That's how I try to live. And that's how I do it. I don't really know.
And I think it's great too. Within our industry, I personally got into it and you did too for our children. Right?
Yep.
So, and I think a lot of women are in this industry because of that.
Can I tell you about Little WinRs?
Yeah.
Oh, what a great segue that was. So what has blossomed out of WinR, just like you're saying, is because it's the children, right? There's a big part of being a woman and being a WinR is a nurturer, right? Because we have children, we know what it's like to give up that sacrificial side of ourselves where somebody's more important than us. So it's birthed out of WinR is this thing that is called Little WinRs. And that is now, WinR is actually, it's the WinR that we're going to be using in our industry, right? To bring the topics that we're bringing and bring forth content, networking, and all that good stuff. That's WinR LLC, but there's the WinR Foundation. And that's the nonprofit. And that is my absolute heart. Because out of that is where we're going to start to do things for the community. It's where, so the way I see it is everything starts with the homeowner and the family, right?
Yes.
And then from there, you got the real estate agent who's the ambassador of that home, right? And so we're so intricately involved in family. And the best way to be involved with the family is the children. So to be providing the opportunities of WinR through Little Winners, which is, it's growing as we grow. What it's going to be is empowerment clinics for young girls, not just clinics, but also just things like we're going to do a Halloween spooktacular safety event. Just things for maybe there's a lot of little girls out there. I don't know you, when I was young, I never really clicked with a sport. Like I never really was like on lacrosse and had that group. And so there's something
That's
I think
like my daughter.
Yeah, my
She's
daughters
more-
too. It's just, well, they got into volleyball now,
Yeah.
but it's like, okay, well, it was tennis last week, so whatever. But there's not, like, boys sometimes have these football clinics and they've got these things and they've got like these drives to do these things. And I noticed that there's a lack for that. So being able for winners to be able to offer these clinics to their clients, to their own children, to their communities, these programs of self-empowerment, little girls knowing I am good enough, I am smart enough, you know, and again, that's birthed of not having that. And I think when we don't have certain things in our lives growing up, we either can become very bitter for not having them, or we can want to become that person that we didn't have. And so for Little Winners, it's like I was a little girl with no direction. So I feel this passion again to impart what I didn't have to them. And then opening that up for anybody to be able to, any little girl in their life that doesn't know their worth or doesn't know their value. It's just another avenue. And so WinR again has become another platform to bring good into our communities. And so that's all that we're doing there. But that one there is one to keep your eye on, Little Winners, because it's also going to birth something for the little boys too. But I'm not a guy and I can't speak on that. So that's in the works too. It's going to be called Better, Build Excellence, Train Relentlessly. And it's going to be for boys. And there's men working on that too. So we don't want to forget about our guys. Like everybody has their role. Everybody has their place, and we can't discount what we bring to the table. I just think that we're kind of bringing a shift and balance back where voices are being heard, and it's not in a stigmatized way. It's not like we're women, we're here. No, we just want to say that this is important to us.
Right.
We just want to say that, you know, it's not okay that some of these things are happening, and it's you know, we want to learn and grow. You know, so that's what, I don't even know what the question was, but yeah.
We were just talking about WinR, so you're right on
Winner,
track.
I went right
Yeah,
into
Little WinR.
Winners because it's my it's really a passion.
You know, I had a lot of people tell me I was wrong for a long time, and I just don't really listen to any of that. You know, I stay on my own journey, I stay on my own path, and, you know, I always tell everyone, I'm like, I'm running a marathon, not a race, you know. I'll outlast you in the end. Doesn't matter to me.
Let's talk about real estate everyday life, because that's kind of spinning off, you know, the schedules and everything. Sometimes the days can be extremely draining.
Yes.
Emotionally draining. And we just need to have faith and push through. What helps you the most, like through the days when things are they just seem unbearable?
Yeah. I think it's kind of what I talked about earlier, which is I start my day with at least 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, just either walking at the woods or at my house, just getting quiet, seeking direction from God. And I don't mean that in some sort of like goofy way where it's like, I don't sit there and I get on my knees and I'm like, how thou for, like, no. I think a big part of a relationship with God is getting quiet and listening for his voice. And I think for the first part of my relationship with God, I did a lot of talking. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, I want this, I want that, I want, you know, what are you going to do about this, and talking. And I just got into a place in my walk with God where I'm listening. And so I wake up in the morning and I go to the woods and I listen to my music and I pray and I get into my zone with God. And, you know, you'd be surprised, not you, I'm sure you know, but a lot of people I think would be surprised if we get ourselves quiet and we get into that space. God will give us direction. Every single thing that has been birthed in this season has been birthed out of that quietness that I have in my life in the morning. It's birthed out of listening for his voice and then acting on it. WinR was an idea. I saw it on a whiteboard. I wrote it down. God gave that to me. Jennifer Solomon and Partners came out of a scripture that God gave me in the Bible, the partners, because sometimes when God brings a haul into your life, you need to call partners together to get that haul together. And so God showed me that. And I think because in my house, I mean, I can't not talk about that for a minute. I mean, even that was birthed of being quiet and looking and listening to what he wants me to do next. And I'm just in a season now where you had asked me earlier about like what my goals are. I have goals to be not only from number one, me, to do my best and try my best every day to please him. Because if I'm pleasing him, it's going to trickle down onto everybody else. If I'm living in integrity in a way that God is pleasing to me, and I'm speaking truth and I'm speaking my truth, and I'm not listening to manipulations and I'm not listening to anybody else, but I'm focused on doing right and doing good by what his standard is, not a church, but what I've learned of him in 25 years, everybody else is going to be okay. And if they don't like it, I can't do anything about that, because I'm solely dedicated to trying to be what he wants me to be. And so I face every day in that manner, and there's no goals. There is goals to be as good as we can be. And I think that's how we got here. All of us, I think, looked at that picture and were like, what is going on? Because we've just been doing the work. So you talk about busy days and draining days. They're all like that, yeah, right? I mean, it's been a long time, I think, that I've had a day where I just felt like I need to get one of those, because we're supposed to take rest.
Yes.
But I think, we all get to that point, but we wake up every morning and we've just been doing the work. We've been putting the work before us. We're selling houses. We're doing what we need to do. We're trying to build when we can, and we're just doing the best that we can every single day. I know I am. And I think that they know on my team that I wake up every day wanting them to succeed. I want to see Christine be the best she can be, and that she knows that. I want to see Shannon. I want to see Danielle. I want to see every single person, Alyssa, Whitney, every single person on my team. I want to see be the best that they can be. And if that means that when we started this, people said, you can't do it this way. They'll leave you. They're going to take your stuff. And I don't care. It's not mine. You know what I mean? Go ahead and leave if that's what's good for you. I say that when anybody has come to me, listen, we can do this 3 ways. You can come and stay forever. You can come for a season and go, or was it 2 ways? Might have been 2 ways. You can come and do whatever you do. This is a hub again. It's a hub for you to find what your passion in his life. And if it's to stay with us forever, stay with us forever. We love you. If it is to go on and build your own team, great. If it's to do something else in some other segment of real estate, great. I don't want control of it. I don't want control of anything. I want that, and everything else falls into place.
That's, and if you don't mind me saying this, it's kind of like what Place Trust is.
Yes.
It's a door. This brokerage is a door for people if they want to start their own business, if they want to have, build something more for themselves.
Right.
Versus being in the shadows.
Right. And I love that. And I think that's why you and I have connected. I mean, this is definitely, you and I weren't even sure what was going on when, you asked me, you came to Little Winners.
And I have not gone to anything networking because I've been just so zoned in on doing this, and just
it's a lot.
Building something completely from scratch,
A vision. You had a vision.
Yes. But that was the only event I went to. And I took my daughter. Yep.
And that's where we met. Yeah. And from there, the podcast, then the panel, and then this. And it's like, we all can glean from each other's badassery. I give that word to Megan Badillion. She put that in one of our WinR videos, and I loved it. When she said, what do you think when you think of woman in real estate? She said, badassery. And I'm like, you know what? That's what it is. You know what it is? It's just get it done. I don't care who gets the credit. I don't care who gets the notoriety. We got houses to sell. We got women to take care of. We got kids to take care of. Yep. Let's just get it done. And I think that when we all have that mindset, and that's the WinR mindset, that's not every woman. That's the WinR mindset. You know what I'm saying? Not every woman realtor that you're going to bump into, or male realtor, or whatever you want to say, is going to have the mindset of a team player. But the ones that are in the group, they want to succeed, and they know it. And that's why some of the top realtors in the industry are in their group, because they see that it's something that's going to be done for good. And it's a tool. It's a tool for us as realtors. It becomes something where we can utilize it to better our careers, to better our families, to better our communities. It's just going to be a tool. And I love that. I love it's servant leadership trickling into that. It's trickling into WinR, and it's trickling into this. And it's just stems from a good place, a very, very good source.
And I think it's really great for the kids to become friends with the other children.
Yep.
That are within the industry, because it just empowers everybody.
Right. It's definitely, it's really good. And it's speaking life into children who right now, it's a really kind of weird time in life.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what side of the fence you fall on. We all know that this is like a train wreck. And so putting something in the kids' hands that says, wait a minute, somebody besides my mom and dad is telling me I'm awesome. I mean, there's something to that. Even you, Lindsay. You know what I mean? Even me. Yeah. I mean, how nice did I feel when you asked me to come on this, right? It's a good feeling when somebody says something nice to you. And I don't know why we don't do more of it. You know what I mean? We don't do it. I love telling people how good they are, because you see them light up. It makes them happy. And then the giving is the part where you get back. You get back when you give compliments. You get back in your heart knowing that you've made somebody happy. And, God takes care of the rest. when you give. He just takes care of it somehow. You know, I don't know how I got this house. I truly don't even know. But I think it's because maybe down the line I might have done something right where I maybe gave, you know, and I'm just like, okay, God, what's next?
Right.
Yeah.
You get whatever you put in, you get back out.
And sometimes it doesn't come, and you know, it usually doesn't come when you plant it. You know, I mean, it's been a hard, and I said this, you know, it's been a hard 25 years. I mean, I met God 25 years ago, you know, and it's been a hard walk. I've had a lot of loss, a lot of failures, a lot of, you know, versions of myself I didn't like at all, you know, and through that, you know, it's coming to a place where, okay, now I'm learning from it. Now I'm learning from everything that I did wrong, and I want to help somebody who might need help getting up so that we can all learn together on how to live a better life and excel in whatever it is that gives us passion. And it might be being a stay-at-home mom. If you want to be a stay-at-home, great, good. Then be there and just be the best that you can be. But you if that fulfills you, but making sure you find what fulfills you as a woman and as a person.
It's extremely important.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Let me just see where we're at here.
10:04, just a heads up for everyone.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so this kind of ties in. Let me see if we'll go ahead. I know what we'll go for next. Okay, so let's touch base back on your team.
Okay.
And growing it.
Yeah.
I think it's extremely important to touch base on how quickly it's grown and how it's structured and how does it run, your team?
Well, it's still growing and we're still structuring it. So it's kind of difficult to answer that question because like I said, I wake up every day and I just wait to see what's going to happen. And we're starting to see more things coming together. There is no goal to grow the team at all. There never was. I never anticipated that this would happen. I'm always just open to whatever God wants to do. And I think that's the organic way that this is going to continue. If there is somebody or people that feel led to join our movement and move forward towards where we're headed, then I can't stop that from happening. You know what I mean? But that's not a goal. I think what we're focused on right now is becoming the strongest unit that we can where we are right now. And that's, you know, we have different varying levels of, experience in real estate, you know, people who have done many deals and multi-million-dollar producers. We have ones that are new, finding that balance and then finding out where to connect even within the team, the people who are best suited to help each other. So, you know, there'll be a text message where I'm on the thread, Shannon's on the thread, and somebody else is on the thread, and we're monitoring a deal with them, making sure that they're learning and making sure that we're nurturing them in a way that is safe and they're able to feel confident when they talk to their clients.
Absolutely.
So it's a nurturing environment. It's an
important.
Open-ended environment where, you know, we're just open to see what's going to happen. And it's a vibe. Do you know what I mean? It just is. Like, nobody who's negative is going to want to be on our team. It's just not going to happen. Like, they're not going to want to be around us. It's just not going to be that way.
Right.
So, but if there's somebody who's ambitious and they say, you know, I like what they're doing and I want to be a part of it. Okay, well, let's see if it works out. You know, it's not something that is I'm holding it very, very loosely because, again, freely given, you know, and at I've learned in this industry where I have been at a couple of different brokerages and done things in a couple of different capacities, things can change on a dime. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. The market can change on a dime. Everything can happen. Everything can change. So I hold it loosely because I don't put my hope in it being a success. I put a hope in me being a success at being me. And then I think the girls too are, you know, and again, I don't want to say the girls because that's what we are. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't say no men could come on the team. You know what I mean? Like, I never even put that thing out. You know, we're open to wherever, you know, whatever ends up happening with us, we're open to it. I just think that that's kind of where we have started. And yeah,
it's grown beautifully.
It is. Yeah. And it's happening all organically. And I don't know what the future holds. I know that we're happy. You know, I think everyone was really happy when we just did our branding shoot because I don't think any of us really realized what was happening because all we've been doing is being in our sweats doing the work. Do you know, we all got dressed up and, you know, gussied up and got there and we're like, and that's one thing that was so awesome to me when I looked at those pictures is number one, we're all wearing black. I love that it's faceless. You know what I mean? It's not that it's faceless, but it's, nobody's trying to stand out. Nobody's trying to be the head. Nobody's trying to be in charge. Nobody's trying to say, look at me. Because what needs to happen in a real team is that, you know, we should be blended, right? So if Shannon is there and she can't be there for a client, Danielle could come in and be able to take it, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that we're
It's the
able to
beauty
be
of a team.
seamless. That's the beauty of it, right? And not only that, you know, people have said, you know, oh my gosh, do you have to be pretty to be on the team, or do you have to be, you know,
Oh
do
my
you have to look a
goodness.
certain way? And I, you know, it's like, oh my God, the girls they're so beautiful, and everybody, you know, I look at people hopefully through God's eyes, you know, that this is, you know, but. No, like if you look at when I look at the team, I see that like, okay, you know, Shannon is, I think she does like nuclear medicine or something ridiculous. Like that's what she's, you know what I mean?
Wow.
She's a genius, you know. Then you've got Randy, who's been on television and she was the spokesperson for the Pirates. And then you've got Michelle, who has just been a kick-ass, badass agent on her own. And then you've got, you know, all these people with these incredible talents. Like the last thing I'm looking at is what we're looking like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I see that picture, and I think that the power in that picture comes forth because of the fact that like there's weightiness behind these women. You know what I mean? Like there's weightiness in accomplishments. There's weightiness in intelligence. There's weightiness in skills and craftiness and ways to do things and innovation and entrepreneurship. It's all in there. I mean, Johnette, she literally can, like she walked in my house and like by the time she leaves, like everything's just beautiful and I don't even know what she did. Do you know what I mean? Like she's staging is in her blood.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? She comes to my office, she's got books put in, like I never even read the books. She's got them always. It's just like, you know, these are talents and skills and she's gorgeous, but like I don't, you know what I mean? I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I look at her and I think, man, 4 kids, 2 of them twins, husband's a dog. Like, how does she pull that off? You know what I mean? And I'm hoping that Jennifer Solomon and Partners comes off with that vibe, you know, that vibe instead of the other one. So I love that we're dressed the way we are. I love that we present ourselves the way that we are. And I just think that because it's organic and it's genuine, it can't help but continue. It's not fabricated. It is what it is. We all love each other. I've known Randy since I was little. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a love there. And I think when there's a love there, there's a trust there. And I think that's in all areas of our life is that you can, when you trust a situation and you trust an environment and you trust a person, you're able to flow and make mistakes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's what I tell the girls in the team. Like, I'm not going to coddle you when you make mistakes in real estate. And I just told them this the other day because
They have to fall on their face sometimes.
it is the best way to learn in real estate. I will never leave a washer and dryer out of a contract again because I paid $600 because my client wanted the washer and dryer because I didn't put it in. And I'm not going to make somebody feel good when they say, Jenny, I forgot to, I'm not going to say, that's okay. I'm going to say, well, you got to pay for it because that's how you learn. You won't do it again. But, and I said this in yesterday, it's like, I will give you the warm and fuzzies and love you. And nobody believes in these people on this team more than me. But when it comes, I'm going to bring out the best in you. I'm going to see what you don't see about yourself, and I'm going to make you live up to that standard that I see inside of you. I'm going to hold you to that because why would you want to live like anything else?
Yep.
Why don't you want to live in that position that you've held? Because somebody else told you couldn't? Did somebody else tell you couldn't become the person that you want to be or that you couldn't be successful? I had people telling me I couldn't, and I'm realizing that wasn't true. So busting out the deceptions that we have in our minds of stereotypes and, you know, labels that people have put on us, you know, it's ridiculous. Like who gave them the authority to tell me who I am? Nobody gets to tell me that except him because he's the one who created me. And those who love me enough, like I call her Mrs. Chippich. That's Christine. She's on my team. I call her Mrs. Chippich again because she was the preschool teacher. And she goes into teacher mode and like scares me. But like Mrs. Chippich is not afraid to put me in my place and tell me when I'm being a certain way or that she doesn't agree with where I'm headed. And I might give her slack up front and be like, hey, you know what you're talking about. But then I go home and I think about it, right? And I'm in my home, but I go to bed and I think about it. And, you know, I take that with a grain of salt. And I think when you know that you're loved by someone, you can take criticism in a much different way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? These girls, they know, and I don't want to call them girls, but I see myself as a girl. Do you understand? Like I look at myself like I'm 8 years old in my heart, you know, just wanting love and wanting to love and just wanting to be that person. So when I see the girls,
that takes you further places with that mindset.
Right. And I see the girls and I think to myself, you don't see that. You don't see what I see. And I do see it. So I'm going to tell you about it because you need to see it because somebody else told you it's not there. And I'm going to bust that lie out until they believe in themselves. And that's pretty much everybody that comes in my life. Anybody that gets close enough to me to be in that flow, I want that for them. I want you to be the best that you can be. And sometimes people take advantage of that and sometimes people want to manipulate it. And that's okay because it doesn't matter when you're not doing it for anything. When you're doing it for God and you want to truly help people, there are no strings attached. You just do what you do and you are who you are. And I think that's the vibe. And, you know, it's funny because I see Deion Sanders and it's like, I laugh because it's like, he's like my spirit animal, really. It's like in my heart, it's like he's talking about God in a way that I've felt in my heart and I've tried to talk about in my whole life. You know, it's like there's something there with faith that people miss because we have this notion of church. And I love that the way that I am with my relationship with God is not bound by any tradition or any church regulation, or nobody can tell me how I have to talk about God and that I have to dress a certain way and I can't swear and I can't do that and I can't do this. I can tell you right now, God loves me and I swear all the time. I try sometimes not to in front of my kids. My daughter says, "Mummy mouth, mummy language." And I try to do, but I don't really think God is as much worried about me and swearing as he is about, am I loving properly? Am I doing properly? Am I giving of myself every single day? And so I love being able to talk about God in this environment where it's not really normal, because I want people to realize that if you do really put faith in action and you ask God of the universe to get involved in what you're doing, no matter what it is, he will.
Yeah.
He will. And it isn't about being perfect, and it isn't about being going to church. It's about just a humble attitude of, I can't do this. And I know for a fact that in 9 months' time, I could never have built this team. I could never have done what's happened with WinR. I could never have bought my house. I couldn't have my kids the way that they are. I couldn't do anything. So I think that's probably why I've gotten where I am. Not that I'm anywhere, but I'm maybe in a content place because I don't really have a strong desire for anything other than to wake up every day and do God's will.
I had one of my agents, and this is just kind of spiraling off this a little bit. He commented on one of your Facebook posts when you were praying.
Oh.
And it was after we met and you prayed with me. And then I called him, and then we were just touching base. And I said, "Oh, do you know her?" Because I just figured I'd ask. And he goes, "Honestly, she just speaks my language." And he goes, "It resonated with me." And then we talked for a while. And he's like, "Lindsay," he's like, "I'm buying you a Bible today."
Yeah.
And he sent it to me.
Yeah.
So I have been reading the Bible.
Yeah.
The past week, Gospel of John. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's what I would tell anybody who ever
and that's
wants
where
to
he
start.
said, he's like, start there.
Right. So. And it's so beautiful when you realize that, like, you don't have to have anybody tell you about your relationship with God. Because like if he came and he was like, and he was the example, like, okay, I'm just going to follow what he tells me. You know what I mean? Because nobody really else is going to have your best interests at heart. You know what I mean? It's just human nature.
Yeah.
But my Giabella doesn't want Valentina to succeed. I know that. She does in her heart, but when she gets a better grade on a thing, that you don't even have to teach somebody how to be that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? She's like, well, I got this on my test. You know what I mean? Like it's just how our nature is. And so fighting against that, right? And bringing out the good in us and then bringing out the good in other people. And that's what God wants to do. He said, love him first, love your neighbor as yourself. All the other stuff is garbage in my mind. Not garbage, but it's as filthy rags. That's what he says. Our own righteousness and what we can do by acting and looking a certain way, it's garbage compared to when he tells you to do something. When he initiates you to do a good work, or he initiates you to move in a certain way, in a certain rhythm, then it's different.
Absolutely. And it's just, and this is what my agent Mark, he told me, he goes, with our meeting we had a few weeks ago, he said, it's God putting his fingerprints on it. He goes, we don't know which direction it's going to go. He goes, but he has a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
so
that.
that's where he's putting his fingerprints on.
Yeah. And there's always two plans. There's his plan and there's our plans.
Right.
The best is when our plans kind of line into his plans. And that's usually when we're holding it loosely enough to let it kind of flow into his plan.
Yes,
but that's
absolutely.
That's when things start to really, and I think that's the season that we're in.
Yep.
Being in alignment. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to share as we wrap
anything
up?
else I want to share?
To touch base on.
I don't think so. I just I'm very thankful for the opportunity, like you said.
Of course.
The WinR event. If I could maybe put a
Yes,
little plug
absolutely.
in for that. So on October 25th, we're having WinR is putting on a panel of experts, which Lindsay is going to be on, and it's going to be talking about the events that transpired with the president of NAR being asked to step down, in regards to his position. And what we have done is we've gathered some of the leaders in our industry. There's so many. That's why WinR is like so exciting, because there's so many people to pick from. We've got so many great people in our industry coming together and really talking about some of the hard button issues. And we're going to have a real estate attorney and an employment law attorney, because when I had talked to the attorney about things, she kind of gave me insight that, our brokerages are set up kind of differently than any other a W-2 environment. Like we don't have the same protections that other
1099.
HR that other HR departments afford to employees. And so because of that, there's been a lot of rampant negative traditions and a lot of rampant, things that have been passed down that, maybe have been kept in the dark and that need shed light on, not in a way to point fingers, but in a way to bring change. And so that's what we're doing. We're going to have Dion, and I might say her name wrong, Malush, I don't know how to say her last name. and Mike Hanlon from Realty One.
Yes.
We're going to have Lindsay, who is the broker owner for Place Trust. Lindsay's Adazello, who obviously everybody who's watching this knows who you are. We will be having Emily Fullerton, is a real estate attorney, and she's also with Superior Title, or she was Superior Closing, sorry. And we have Nikki Velaceros. I don't know if I said her last name, or she is employment law. We're going to have, we wanted to have great representation from John Marzullo, he's with Compass. When we had talked to some of the different agents that are going to be preparing for the panel, we just wanted to get somebody that we all know and, that everyone had, felt like would be able to add a good amount of value to the panel. And we've got Jeff Mountain was another one who graciously offered to be a sponsor with Place Trust and Lindsay, which is a difficult thing, I think, as a man to be able to address this topic because it's touchy. It's a touchy topic, but I think who am I missing from the panel? Exciting. Jen Mascaro from Coldwell Banker. She's a rock star, winner, and we wanted to have her voice on the panel. I think that I covered everybody. I'm trying to think about the graphic. But what we want to do is, number one, we want to make sure that we're not casting men in a negative light. This is not men against women. This is authority over us as realtors, and us being able to balance that authority with our own voice. So it's not going to be that. It's going to be, all of us have been in situations where somebody had power over us that nothing got anywhere when something happened. So getting resources, finding out where the resources are, what's available to us, then creating, even in winter, more resources to be able to have a place for people to go when they don't feel like their voice is being heard, maybe at their brokerage or in their company, any real estate related industry, because it's a problem everywhere. So,
and it's been for decades.
And it's honestly, I don't know that you can really pinpoint it that it's somebody's fault, other than it was a tradition that was passed down. But there's a lot of bad traditions that were passed down in every area of our lives.
In real estate, this industry in general is just so far behind in the times with so many things. It is just slowly transitioning.
Yep. Yeah, and there's a need for the progressive thinking, but that's what WinR is. It's again, we want to centralize and be a hub for these type of things, not in a negative way, but in a way that brings forth change. Because what I've learned in this, like through life, is that the hard conversations bring forth fruit. You know what I mean? So having these hard conversations, it's going to bring light. It's going to bring change, because people aren't going to be able to do the things in the dark anymore.
Right.
When we talk about things and we bring them into the light, well then there's accountability. Right? There's accountability for what we're doing in our brokerages, and that accountability is going to manifest itself in healthier work environments and people succeeding. Do you know what I mean? Those types of environments where there's intimidation and workplace, hostile work environments, it stifles us from being able to be the agent because we're worried about things that have nothing to do with real estate. We're worried about the fact that this manager doesn't like me, or I don't have the connections that this other agent does because of who they know. No, it stifles us to be able to be who we are. So if that playing ground gets leveled because we're bringing light into some of these unfair balances, well, then guess what? That agent might be able to really succeed because they're freed up to do things that are important with their career, and they might have an opportunity. They might have, if it's balanced and these leads and other opportunities are given in the right manner, then maybe they might be able to excel just like some of the other people who might have better connections. And so it's just busting up some of the stigmas and getting in there and digging out the dirt like we women do, we moms do. We clean it out and we make it better, and then we heal. Right?
Yep, correct.
We clean out the wound. We get your boo-boo. We make it better, and we help you heal. And so it's a safe place for people to come. And I think that's a lot of like women's hearts. It's a safe place for people to come, to get support, to get guidance, to get love, to get what you need in order to be able to do what you need to do for yourself.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jennifer. It was a pleasure having you.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.